Good afternoon everyone, my name is Andrade and welcome to my presentation that is based within the Australian Curriculum's Teaching Technologies. Today I have actually developed a lesson that is to create a digital game that I will be doing with my Year 6 class. Now the topic is within our Creating Digital Solutions agenda, and the duration of the lesson is approximately 120 minutes. Now this lesson has been designed to be completed over two parts. So lesson 1 will be for 60 minutes, and of course the second lesson, preferably the next day, will be for 60 minutes as well. Now during this presentation I will be providing you with a brief description of the activity that I have developed, which includes the year level that I've targeted. I'll also explain to you why I've selected this particular activity over others that I may have considered, as well as a possible teaching approaches as well, which will be really good. And to sum up on that, I'll be going over the formative assessment that might be undertaken during this activity as well. So to give you a little bit of background, this lesson was influenced by students' overall interest within the gaming sector. Now students will be participating in the design and development of their own game, which I hope to inspire through creativity and of course instill the foundations of digital coding. Now this lesson links directly to the Australian curriculum with the code ACTD IK008. Now further to that, the program that we will be building our digital game through is through a program called Scratch. Now the students have had a little bit of experience with Scratch in the past, of course playing with the idea of creating code cards that they can download for later, and of course print to follow the steps for a variety of different projects. Now the learning objectives that of course we're going to cover is to define what coding is, plan and design their own digital game, consider the game's purpose, functional requirements and types of data involved as well. Now one of the things I do want to stress is the necessity for a narrative. So it's not just going to be straight up showing someone how to jump up and down. It needs to have a solid story as well. And briefly going back to creativity, I want to stress as well that when one innovates, one involves looking at the problem in a different way and using different digital tools to uncover a solution. Now this approach is prevalent within 21st century learning and teaching, and as a lot of our personal and professional lives are strongly dependent on digital technologies, I was exploring different avenues we could take with that, and of course having a look at the different pedagogies that are associated. Continuing, the students will plan, design and develop their own self-produced digital game through the Scratch program as discussed, considering the game's purpose or narrative, requirements to make it fully functional and what algorithms are required to code, and various types of data that may be needed, such as images, sounds, graphics and text that they may want to pop in. Students will need to plan and of course create plans that include an algorithm that demonstrate how the elements within their game suggest an orderly sequence of repetition. Additionally to that, students will need to storyboard what will happen during their game. This can be illustrated in the form of a diagram or as a flowchart. Now once this has been completed, the students will develop their game within the Scratch program and record their results. One of the main things we do want to stress as well is that we want to make sure that there is a whole class discussion as well, high participation, and of course the teacher led as well. The teacher needs to be very hands-on with this one. Now looking at how we'll cater for individual differences, we'll converse with different images for students who are below average within the class, including EAL, so English as an additional language, and a focus on asking simple questions as well to students with additional needs such as autism and ADHD. Now lessons won't only be focused around students who may have learning needs such as ADHD or autism, but these could also be children who are challenged with anxiety as well as areas such as dyslexia and dysgraphia. Now to sum up with this very quickly, the assessment strategies that we'll use will be to question the class and facilitate a class discussion. The teacher must do a whole class observation and of course record their experiences and results within the Digital Technologies Journal. Now my apologies for not being able to share my lesson plan or work with you visually. I was having some issues with connections. So I do hope that you have taken the time to listen to this presentation and enjoy it. All the best.